One Christian wife shared with me that there were days she felt so overwhelmed in her marriage that she couldn't find the strength to pray. But after one conversation, one shift in perspective, something unexpected began to happen. Her husband initiated prayer. In a moment, you're going to hear her testimony in her own words. As you listen, pay close attention to the moment her perspective changes, because that's when we begin to see God move.
Hi, Sister Anika. It's been a while since we spoke. I'm just coming at you with a lot of gratitude, right? From the last time we spoke, my life has never really been the same again. And I know that you definitely have been praying for me, because I've seen even on days where I couldn't pray, where I just felt weak, I just saw things like working out, regardless of whether I had strength to pray about it or not. And that as that happened in my mind, it told me that indeed there's someone else carrying me. When I can't present myself before God, there is someone who knows what I'm going through, and they presented me before God. From the last time we spoke, I tried to take the encouragement and make it practical. As these things happen, I pray about it, try to ask God to help me change my perspective and how I receive things and how I respond, and to be honest, it has just made life so easy. That some days are just better than others, because you start to see things in the light of the cross, and instead of seeing someone as bad as they are, as they are doing whatever they're doing, instead you feel sorry for them. You apply that principle of Jesus, whereby he comes back from praying and his disciples, Peter and the two are just sleeping, and he needed them the most, and they're sleeping, and he just says, you know what, indeed the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. And yeah, that has just been a principle that I have just decided to use in my life, that in the presence of difficulties, in the presence of situations that I just feel are heavy on me, I just look at my husband and I just tell myself that he is willing, his spirit is willing, I can see it in him, but the flesh is weak. And that has just helped me to have a whole different perspective in how I see things now. And not only is it working, but it has made everything easier for me to be able to deal with the situations that are before me. Because looking back at how these things would affect me, how I would constantly think that he's working against me, and it was more like it's me against him. The more I looked at these things with a different eye, the easier it gets, because I don't even know where to start with just telling you the things that have happened ever since that last time we spoke. I've seen so much great changes, and I choose to see them as great because these are things that I was just talking to you about, and then I took them to God in prayer. And from that moment on, also knowing that you're also praying for me, I live each and every day with that in my mind, and it just helps me to keep going and to never be discouraged when these things happen. So like I'm saying, after we prayed that day and after we spoke, I would also read my Bible, I would also pray to God. There were some days I've just been not consistent in terms of just praying for him specifically, because a lot has been happening a lot of growth has just surrounded me, and I believe it's because I'm in a better space right now, and that thing is opening up other doors that have been closed. Understanding that that one part of my life that I've been struggling with when it comes to my relationship with my husband has been something that has been closing doors all around me. And it hit me when he said to me, I think I've seen how great you are meant to be, and I think my weakness in my spiritual life, in that my spiritual life is not that strong, it's pulling you down. And I was like, God, what's happening? And this all happened after we had that talk, and after our prayers, believing that you have been praying for me as well. He started to initiate prayer. Like you had asked me the last time, do we pray together? And I told you that it's a struggle to get him to that point, because when he's just not in the mood, he's not in the mood. He doesn't want to do it. But he started with initiating prayers. Whenever there's just a little thing that just happened, he'd be like, let's pause and pray, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Who is this, Lord? And then after that, it grew to a point of him saying, may we please have devotions? And then from devotions, that's where he'd start like following through the word, because the things that were even discussed in the books that he would be inspired to read for us as devotion, they were just things that were talking to him, and he would mention everything that I spoke to you about and saying, Ish, I realized that maybe this has been my weakness, because 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is why I end up responding like this, as if he was someone that was listening through our conversation when we were saying whatever that I was telling you. I just couldn't understand what was happening, but I could just see the glory of God. I could just see how great God is, and how life gets so simple when we trust and rely on him. And I'm not saying my life has gone from 0 to 10. No, some days are just better than the others, but I just want to appreciate the fact that I see changes. Obviously, it's not gonna be that easy, like you were saying to me, but it's easier for me because it has helped me in how I view life, in how I decide or how I choose to respond to things that happen, and it's no longer the same. So the burden is lifted, not necessarily because it has been taken away, everything that happens has been taken away, but it's lifted because of how I respond now to these things that happen. I choose not to be discouraged. I choose not to see them as something that is against me, but it has just been a journey of taking everything back to God and just allowing him to be God, allowing him to be the one that just fights the battles for me. And yeah, it's really beautiful. It really is. And also talking about that point of him saying that he realized that him not being rooted in God is also affecting me in the way he thinks I should be living my life, because he says to me, I feel like you're called for great things. I feel like you're called for greatness, but how my relationship is with you, I feel like I'm pulling you down and you're not able to realize your purpose and leave it out. And that really touched me. And it also encouraged me to want to hang on to God and cling to him so much. In that yeah, like he was saying, my purpose has been established in some sort of way, because after the conversation I had with you, then I had ladies that were coming to me with their own issues, And I remember there was someone who posted a meme that says, "Where you are broken, that's where your purpose is, or that's where your ministry is. At the point of you being broken, that's where you will find that you are called for." And I remember it was with tears on my eyes, asking God. I was just asking God that, but that I'm also broken. That I also need help. That these are things that break me as well. But why then would you send people that need help also in that? But then I realized that I could be to others what you are to me. um I know it has just been that one time that we spoke, but yeah. Yeah, I've had a couple of ladies coming to me, with their problems and everything. And at first I was so scared. I was even asking God, what are you doing? Lord, what are you doing? But then to a point that I started a book club. The story of that book club is also a testimony on its own, how it came to be. And I remember at a point I told God that it was not my intentions to open the book club, but I feel like He's the one who has opened it. So may He bring the people that He has created the book club for. And can I tell you, He did. He did. He brought these ladies, and these ladies can't stop, thanking God for me to say, why has this come at the time that we needed? The others that I invited, moved by God, because I just told them that I don't want to involve anyone who is not their time to be here. I just want you to direct this. And I would talk to people, and it would get to that point of the book club, and they would just say, I have just been talking to God about this, and God did 1 2 3 4. God did 1 2 3 4. So the fact that you are coming with a concept of a book club whereby we are reading a book, and we have chosen Steps to Christ. Well, I think God is the one that chose the book Steps to Christ. And they were just saying, this is exactly what we needed, because spiritually we feel like our lives are just spiraling out of control. Like, there's just a lot. But I just thought I should just give you an update, a testimony. We had spoken about that. So I just thought that, no, it's been way too long. Yeah, the weeks are not the same, but what remains the same is my reaction or my attitude towards what happens, and that has just kept me at peace. When the Bible says we need to have peace in the storm. So peace is not the absence of storms. The storms are there, but peace, it's how you choose to see life, how you choose to view what's happening to you, and how you choose to react to it. And I think that's why God would then say, count it all joy when you go through all of these things.
Did you catch the turning point in her story? Her breakthrough didn't begin when her husband changed. It began when her perspective changed. Instead of thinking he's working against me, she remembered the words of Jesus found in Matthew 26:41. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. That shift changed everything. Instead of responding in frustration, she chose to respond with compassion. Instead of fighting her husband, she began fighting for him in prayer. And in God's perfect timing, something beautiful began to unfold. Her husband started initiating prayer and even began recognizing how his choices were affecting his wife and marriage. My sisters, sometimes the breakthrough we're looking for begins with prayer, honest self-examination, and a shift in perspective. I'd like to invite you to ask God to help you see your husband and your marriage through his eyes. Ask him for a change in perspective. What part of the testimony spoke to you the most? please share in the comments. And if you're navigating separation, I created Brave Wives Academy, a faith-based program designed for Christian wives who are navigating separation. This program was designed to help you strengthen your relationship with God and experience greater stability during this difficult season. You can learn more at bravewivesacademy.com. Finally, if you want more encouragement and practical biblical marriage help, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.